everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be diving in to the new eyeshadow sticks that were launched from Hourglass and Victoria Beckham Beauty. So as you're probably noticing, I have a new setup. So last week when I was filming this video, my camera kind of went out. It's kind of a long story, I won't get into it, but I had to get a new camera. So I went on this journey, which I am just not good at this stuff because I know nothing about cameras, kind of know the basics. I know even less about the lens options for cameras. Fortunately, I have friends in this space that I was able to reach out to. Tanya Wells, love her, and her sweet husband, Andrew, for helping me. Like he's like a camera genius, and they gave me some options and some ideas, and I'm so grateful. So I went on the journey of buying a new camera, buying a new lens, and while I was doing that, I changed my background. So I did a lot of changes, and let me know what you guys think about this setup. Is it too bright? Is it too warm? Is it too cool? Like I'm just really kind of in the early stages of trying to get it right. Let me know about the audio. I did adjust the audio on the camera, still using the same mic, but I know in my other videos, it does kind of sound like I'm much louder. So just overall, let me know. I'm really curious. And you guys know I love constructive criticism. So if there's something about this new setup that you don't like, let me know in the comment section. So I'm finally back. I was so far behind from being sick, and then my other camera doing that just set me back even farther, but I'm going to catch up, and I'm going to be uploading a ton of videos in the next couple weeks. But today's video is going to be all about these new eyeshadow sticks. Let's go ahead and get into the details. So I went ahead and picked up 4 shades in each of the eyeshadow sticks. So I have 4 shades in the Victoria Beckham Beauty, and I also have 4 shades in the Hourglass. Go ahead and jump into the details on these from Victoria Beckham Beauty. So these retail for $34, and they come in 7 shades. Like I said, I picked up 4 of the 7 shades. They are 1.6 grams worth of product. They are being described as a clean, pigment-rich, ultra-creamy, buildable eyeshadow stick with waterproof wear that lasts up to 8 hours. 7 fashion shades, 2 statement finishes, glides on with easy tug-free application and blends seamlessly. Buildable color in a supremely creamy formula, sets for a ultra long wear, crease-proof, fade-proof wear for up to 8 hours. No base, brush, or touch-ups required. The first shade I have is the shade that I'm actually wearing right now. This is Macaron. This is being described as a matte lilac, and it is. It's kind of not quite pink, not quite purple. It's kind of in the middle. The next shade I bought is Pecan. This is being described as a matte deep brown. Then I bought Oyster, which is being described as a shimmering pearl. Then finally the shade Caramel, which is being described as a shimmering bronze. So those are the 4 shades from the Victoria Beckham Beauty brand. Let's go ahead and move into the details on the new ones from Hourglass. So these are called the Voyeur Eyeshadow Sticks. These retail for $34, so they're exactly the same price and also the same amount. So you get 1.6 grams worth of product in both the Hourglass and the Victoria Beckham Beauty. These also come in 7 shades. So these are being described as an effortless, crease-resistant eyeshadow stick that delivers high-impact color with a sleek metallic finish for all-day wear. Featuring the perfect balance of rich pigments and creamy textures, this formula delivers 8-hour crease-resistant wear with a comfortable feel. It glides smoothly onto the lids without skipping and tugging, allowing for easy, intuitive application for a minimal everyday routine. They're not only the exact same price, the exact same amount, the same amount of shades offered, but they're also being described as pretty much the same. The Victoria Beckham Beauty said that they were crease proof and waterproof for up to 8 hours. Same thing goes for the Hourglass. Now the 4 shades that I got in the Hourglass, I first have Aurora, which is being described as an olive green. I have Equinox, which is described as a warm taupe. I have Phoenix, which is a warm copper. And I have Solstice, which is a metallic bronze. So those are the 4 shades that I have from Hourglass. Now, In this video, I'm going to be, of course, sharing swatches of the shades that I have from each of the brands and also comparing them to several of the shades that I have from the Laura Mercier Caviar sticks. That has been my personal favorite eyeshadow stick, and I have several shades of those, so I'll definitely share some swatches and shade comparisons. So that's pretty much all of the information on the products we're going to be talking about in today's video. Let's go ahead and move into the application. Now, in the application, it's going to be my old setup because I tried on most of the shades and it's really good footage, and I kind of go through and explain to you guys my first experience with them. Obviously, I've been wearing them for several days since I filmed that portion, but I feel like it will be important for you guys to see that footage because I try on so many of the shades. It'll just be a different background, different camera, and that will be a good way for you guys to let me know what you guys think of this new setup versus the old setup. But anyway, once we get through the application, we're going to jump into the swatches and all those comparisons, and then I will come back and I will jump into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. So this is what the tip of the one from Hourglass looks like. So it is kind of like on an angle. Then the one from Victoria Beckham Beauty is just a circle. So you can kind of see it like this. So there's the difference right there that I'm noticing like right off the bat. So those are the 4 shades that I personally picked up from the Victoria Beckham Beauty brand. Like I mentioned, they actually have 7 shades total. I picked up 4 of the 7. Okay, so these are the 4 shades that I grabbed from Hourglass. Like I said, they do have 7 shades total. I picked up 4 of the 7 shades. That's what we're working with. We're gonna go ahead and apply them. I really am excited to see what the pink one from Victoria Beckham Beauty looks like on the eye. And I'm just gonna start kind of applying it here on the eye. That is such a pretty shade, you guys. It is beautiful. So now I'm just going to kind of blend it out. Okay, that blended like a dream. Like, that blends so easily. My dogs are playing. If you can hear that, I apologize. But like, I'm going to bring some right up here on the crease like that. And then take the brush and just like buff it kind of there in the crease. But oh my gosh, that blends like a dream. And I'm kind of obsessed with that color. That is such a beautiful color, right? And it's creamy enough to blend out, but it also kind of dries and sets down. It's a fantastic color. Here, and we're gonna move on to the other side. I really don't know what color to use because none of the colors that I got from Hourglass are even gonna be close to matching this, but that's okay. Here's the thing though. So when I just took off the cap, this came out. Okay, so this is the shade Equinox. I'm going to kind of push it because the problem is the way that it's angled, you don't want it shifting around. This is a perfect example. So these from Hourglass are shaped kind of like this from Charlotte Tilbury, and the same exact thing happened with this formula. So this kind of comes off and you have to line it up perfectly. It'll start looking like this. And you can't really apply it that way. Does that make sense? So it looks like it's just that one that's like that, but just an FYI, right? Like, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the shade Equinox on this side. So that's really pretty. It's very kind of soft on the eyelid, pretty easy to blend as far as that goes. I kind of feel like I like the Victoria Beckham Beauty just a little bit more. So this one is the Victoria Beckham Beauty, and this is the one I just applied from Hourglass. This one's Victoria Beckham Beauty as well. But you can kind of see that the one from Victoria Beckham Beauty has a little bit more pigment than this one. I think the ones from Hourglass are a little bit less pigment than the ones from Victoria Beckham Beauty. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe these two shades off. I'm gonna come back and put two other shades on. I will be right back. So I'm back. I went ahead and wiped everything off. I'm gonna try to use the three shades that I have from Victoria Beckham Beauty. Because I have this really light one, I thought about putting it here on the inner corner. And then I have this kind of olive colored one, maybe here on the outer corner, and then maybe using a little bit of Pecan in the crease, just to try to use as all the shades if I can. All right, I'm gonna start with the shade Oyster, and I'm gonna bring that here on the inner corner. And then I'm just gonna kind of blend it out with a brush. Works pretty good, right? That's pretty. It's a pretty color. Now I'm gonna go in with the shade Caramel. I'm just going to use a brush to kind of blend those together. Yeah, I definitely feel like the ones from Victoria Beckham Beauty are more pigmented. They just have a little bit more pigment from the jump. Like you don't have to build it as much, at least so far. I mean, I've only tried one shade of the Hourglass, so we'll see how the others work. But just based on using those two shades, like I just feel like it builds a little bit easier than ones from Hourglass. Okay, then I'm gonna go in with the shade Pecan, which this is the matte color. And I'm gonna bring that like right up here. And let's just see what it looks like. Okay, so I don't know if it's me or what, but I'm sure you can see that I'm having an issue with it kind of patching up. It's just sticking, like, and it's not as smooth. So the matte one in the pink color blended beautifully, but it's a light color, so you're not gonna know if it's getting muddy, right? This is a darker color, and it's matte, and I just don't feel like it's working as well as the shimmer shades. So just FYI on that. I'm gonna try to get a different brush maybe and see if I can get it to buff out. Like you can actually see, if I pull my eyelid up like that, you can actually see where I put it on. And it's just not blending very well. So that shade, I don't know that I would recommend at all because I am really struggling with it. I'm gonna wipe it off just because the more I keep adding, the more it's just not working. I'm gonna move on to this side with the shades from Hourglass, and then we'll see if I can make that outer corner work with that shade Pecan. Let's put on Solstice, which is a lighter gold. I'm gonna bring it here on the inner corner, just like I did the other eye. It's pretty, but it's not. It doesn't have a lot going on. It's not, I just don't think it's that pretty of a color. Okay, so let's go in with Phoenix. I'm gonna put that like right here on the center of the lid. And it's a little crumbly. So are you guys seeing that with the shade Phoenix? So right here, I've got some crumbles. I don't like that either. I'm not a fan of eyeshadow sticks that are crumbly because they make a freaking mess and they don't apply very good. Just feels like a really dry formula the ones from Hourglass. Like it doesn't glide on like the ones from Victoria Beckham Beauty. So the last color that I have is the green one, which is the Aurora. And let's put that on the outer corner just for fun. I mean, these colors definitely don't go together, all of them, but I wanted you guys to be able to kind of see them at least a little bit. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and put some of that on the lower lash line, kind of buff that in. Let's move back to Pecan. I'm going to see if we can get this to blend. I'm going to wipe my brush off. Okay, that color is not good. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It works fine for the lower lash line, but as far as putting it on the eyelids and trying to get it to, it just doesn't work. At the end of the day, it's a really dark color and it's not creamy enough to blend out. So that's pretty much it for the try on. Let's go ahead and jump into the swatches and then we'll go ahead and jump into my final thoughts. I do hope that those swatches and comparisons were helpful. Let's go ahead and jump into my final thoughts. And like I mentioned in the intro, I have worn these for several days since I filmed the application of these products. So I really know how I feel about them. I wore them pretty much all weekend, kind of played around with them, and I have a lot to say, so let's get into it. I'm going to first start with the ones from Victoria Beckham Beauty. The shade Pecan is just really a want. Like, this shade not only does not blend, but it gets so patchy and it builds up. And I have tried working with this several times. It just doesn't work for me. The only time that I like the shade Pecan is putting it underneath the lower lash line because it blends right out. But as soon as I go to put it in the crease to kind of give me some dimension, it just like sticks to one spot, and trying to get it to blend from there is an absolute nightmare. So I definitely 100% do not recommend the shade Pecan from Victoria Beckham Beauty because it just is a bugger to blend. I absolutely love the shade Macaron. I feel like it's really beautiful. And I think because even though the Pecan is a matte and so is the Macaron, it is lighter, and so it doesn't quite show those build-up spots like the darker shade does. So if you were interested in this color, it's a gorgeous color. It's a really easy, it blends out beautifully. And today I went ahead and put a little bit of a shimmering pink over top. In fact, I grabbed I grabbed this shade in the Chantecaille, the new spring summer, this shade right here, and just kind of stuck it on the lid and on the inner corner. And it just plays really well with an eyeshadow like that. So if this was the shade that you were interested in, I think you'll enjoy it because it's a really beautiful shade. I didn't have any issues with the shimmer shades that I have from Victoria Beckham Beauty. However, do I feel like these are any better than the Caviar sticks from Mercier? Not really. I feel like these are kind of in the middle between being intense and low intense. So these are kind of in the middle. They're not going to give you that shine and that real pretty sparkle, but they're also not really dull either. Now, the reason why I point that out is because Mercier actually has two finishes in their like intensity, if you will. So I have the shade Intense Amethyst and just regular Amethyst. And let me show you guys what I mean. So this one is the regular intensity. So it is very, very soft on the eye, blends out really pretty, but it doesn't have a lot of sparkle, a lot of shine, right? The Intense Amethyst does. It has that glitter and metallic look. So you can see the difference there. So this one is the Intense and this is just the regular. So you can just see how reflective this one is, and this one's not quite that reflective. The reason why I bring that up is because the ones from Victoria Beckham Beauty are similar in the fact that like this one right here, which is Oyster, is a little bit more intense than this one, which is Caramel, right? So there are a difference there in intensity. This one's just like much softer on the eye. However, personally, I still like the Caviar Sticks formula from Mercier. I do. They're a little bit easier to use and they blend out a little bit easier. So if you have some from Mercier, do you absolutely need these from Victoria Beckham Beauty? No, unless you're really, really interested in the pink shade, the Macaron, like what I'm wearing. It's kind of a unique shade. But as far as the other tones go, if you already have some from Mercier, I don't know that I'd rush out and grab them from Victoria Beckham Beauty. Shimmer shades, in my opinion, are a nice formula. It's just the shade Pecan that I do not absolutely unequivocally do not recommend that shade. It is a bugger to use. Now let's discuss the Hourglass. And I saved these for last for a reason, because these are not my favorite. I have played with them off and on all for like the last week. The design I think is going to be problematic because as you guys noticed, Equinox comes out, right? And you have to kind of slip it down inside there. Because of the way that they're shaped, you have to make sure it's in there in the right way. So there's a little bit of a design flaw there, and I kind of have a feeling that as these sit in your collection and dry out a little bit more, I feel like this might be an issue going forward. It's just something to take note of. And the reason why that is significant is just because if they were round, if they had the round tip like the Victoria Beckham Beauty, it would be fine because you don't have to line it up perfectly like you do with this packaging. Because this packaging is designed a certain way, it's a little bit messy to kind of fiddle with. Now, is that a full deal breaker? No, but it's a nuisance, right? It's kind of a pain in the butt, especially when you pay $35 for it, okay? So getting that out of the way, that's just something to expect. There might be a packaging flaw. However, there is a need for this type of formula as far as the intensity goes, because these are the least pigmented out of the ones that I personally have. So out of the Victoria Beckham Beauty and the ones from Mercier, these are just extremely soft on the eye, where they really don't give you a lot of shine. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If you're someone that doesn't like a lot of shine, then you might really like these from Hourglass. I like more of an intensive look on the eye. So perhaps for me, Caviar Sticks from Mercier are the ones that I'm going to reach for over these from Hourglass, because I do like a little bit more intensity. Because typically when I'm using an eyeshadow stick, it's kind of a one and done type of thing. Like I don't typically mix or put any like powder eyeshadow on, right? So with these, I feel like they just are not intense enough for me. I would say on a scale from 1 to 5, okay? So let's just say this intense amethyst right here is a 5, okay? Because it's pretty intense. So on a scale from like 1 to 5, this intense amethyst from Mercier being a 5, I would say these are like a 2. They don't really have a lot of shimmer or sparkle aspects to them. Now, maybe the lighter color. So, you know, I do have like the warm copper, the warm taupe. I have that olive green one. So maybe a lighter color, you might get a little bit more intensity, like maybe the shade Oyster from Victoria Beckham Beauty. But just kind of know that they're all 4 of the shades that I personally have from Hourglass are quite low intense. And you could even see that in the swatches when I compared them next to the Victoria Beckham Beauty. The 2 shimmery ones that I have from Victoria Beckham Beauty, they have more sparkle, a little bit more shine than the ones from Hourglass. Personally, after trying all of them and using them pretty much for the last week off and on, just kind of grabbing shades and putting them on, I still will continue to reach for the Mercier Caviar sticks over the ones that I have from Victoria Beckham Beauty and Hourglass, except for the Macaron shade. Like, I absolutely love this. I think I'll probably wear this more in the summer, you know, with summer coming up, but I just don't see them being that special. I understand why the brands launched them, because they probably wanted to have something like that in their makeup line, right? Like in their brand portfolio, they probably needed it. But are they necessarily different than what we already have? No. Are they better than what we already have? No. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. I do hope that the video was helpful. Sound off down below. Let us know, have any of you guys picked up any of these products from Victoria Beckham Beauty or Hourglass? And what is your experience? I'm so curious to hear your thoughts. So definitely sound off down below. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you. Bye.